Now I'll ask you to help me in welcoming David Iglesias to discuss his book, Injustice.
I don't listen to talk radio a lot, but I made the mistake of listening to talk radio when they were talking about me. I got talked into by my wife, and one of the things that they didn't seem to understand was that a lot of the folks thought I was mad because I lost my job. Initially I was, but then I realized it's not about the job. I mean, we've all landed on our feet. All my colleagues are doing quite well. It's about trying to politicize our justice system. My book calls him a shoot-from-the-hip kind of lawman who shoots first, aims later. If there really is voter fraud, let's investigate it, let's prosecute it. But at the end of, gosh, I took over 100 complaints. I had only one possible case. And I worked very closely with my partners. I worked closely with the Justice Department, with the guy that does nothing but voter fraud. And I couldn't find a case I could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So guess what? I didn't file it. And what Darren said was, well, he wants cases wrapped in a pretty little bow before he prosecutes. No, Darren, I need a case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not a little pretty bow. It's called the rule of law. We don't just accuse people in this country and then cut them loose after indicting them. So I've been very disappointed in Darren. He doesn't understand his duties as a sheriff. He put, and this is what I'm very critical of people like Gonzalez, they put loyalty to the party at a higher plane than their loyalty to the Constitution. Darren did the same thing. So I hope the voters understand that come November. Take yourself back to mid-October of 2006. Patsy Madrid is ahead of Heather Wilson. And if you remember that Zogby poll, she was up 9 points over Heather. She was desperate. Heather was desperate. And what she had heard, and the reason I know this is people tell me, they say, hey, the rumor on the street is you've sealed indictments, that you've got the case ready, but you're going to wait until after the election. So Heather had heard that, so she wanted to find out about the sealed indictment against your client and some of the others. Well, she didn't hear that what she heard was false. We were working out guilty pleas with some cooperating witnesses. We'd sealed those. But it wasn't the sealing didn't happen until after her phone call. So she got it completely wrong. But I didn't tell her anything because she wasn't entitled to know that information. Plus, I could have gotten in a lot of trouble for saying, oh yeah, Heather, let me tell you about these sealed indictments. It's just between us. Because of course what she's going to do with that information, she's going to use that against Patsy Madrid, saying, here's another example of the federal government doing a public corruption case and Patsy's done nothing for 8 years. That's what she would have done. And, you know, again, my job was law enforcement, it wasn't politics. It's not over. A lot of people will come up to me and say, are you glad it's over? And I'll say, well, I'm glad, but it's not over. There are still 5 pending separate investigations. So if you hear anybody say it's yesterday's news, oh, that's so 2007. Please straighten them out because it's not.